Here we go. Okay. All right. Well, hello everyone and welcome. My name is Amanda. I'm so excited that you are here with me on this Tuesday. It's a very warm Tuesday. Um, as a gentle reminder that anything that we do in this class, poses, flow, it's all optional. If something just doesn't feel good in your body, either ease off, take a modification, or just skip it. Totally no big deal at all. But before I join you on the mat, just to start off our class or our theme, today is about truth and speaking your truth. And I don't want to take credit, but I saw this like little clip on Instagram, and I thought it was the greatest thing. And her name was, I want to say it was like Mona Hadar, and it was beautifully said. Basically, that the mouth is really the meeting place between the mind and the heart. So when we are able to humble our mind and elevate our heart, we come to this harmonious meeting ground. So when we speak kind words and we speak our own authentic truth, it's so much, it feels better to us than trying to say something just to fit in or just because, you don't think like, oh, maybe they don't agree with that, so I'll say something different. And there's always a time and place for, being polite as always, but also to keep true to yourself and to be as authentic as you are and to know that, sometimes your absolute truth is not necessarily someone else, and but that is okay. And just to speak with kindness, some of us, we speak more with emotion and some of us speak more with logic, and that is all okay. But trying to kind of balance again the mind and the heart all the way back down, meeting at the mouth, and just speaking kind words but the truth at the same time. So with that in mind for our class, start the music, and then I will meet you on the mat. We're just going to start in a nice, comfortable seat. It can be crisscross applesauce or a nice, easy pose. And if that doesn't feel good on the hips or knees at first, you can always sit up on a block or a pillow or even have your legs out straight, whatever feels best to you. And then once you finally come into whatever pose feels best, just kind of grounding down. Maybe sway a little side to side at first. You can close your eyes right away, or maybe just have a nice heavy gaze, just looking straight down. Begin to focus in, center a little more. And then maybe finding a little bit of stillness. And then maybe looking past the tip of your nose, taking a big breath in, and then exhale out the mouth. And then if it feels good, maybe closing the eyes. Start that journey inward just a bit more. Maybe roll the shoulders up towards the ears and then leading them back down the spine, creating more space between the shoulders and the ears, relieving a little more tension. Maybe even wiggle out the fingertips and then let them rest gently right on top of the leg. And then on your next inhale, really lengthen up the spine. And then exhale, let the muscles soften a bit more. So maybe we have some thoughts just floating around our mind, and no worries, that's totally natural. But once those thoughts or chatter come up in your mind, see if you can just say, okay, just kind of send them out into the ether for now. And once you kind of go down your little list, see if you can start to even come in or just a bit more. Focusing on the breath, just noticing the nice inhales and the deeper exhales. Bring awareness to the body, seeing if there's any tension lingering around. See if you can soften in just a bit. Start to cultivate just a sense of calm all throughout the body and the mind, knowing that you have no obligations, No deadlines for the next 45 minutes, just to be here with yourself, with your breath, with your practice. And then if it resonates with you, you can set an intention for your practice. It can be a positive affirmation, or maybe it's releasing something that no longer serves or benefits you. Or you can even dedicate this practice to someone. Whatever comes to you naturally, no overthinking, just let it be, let it sink in. And then we'll just take another big breath in. Deeper exhale out. Let's do that one more time. Nice big inhale. And exhale, letting it go. Keeping the eyes closed or heavy, just take the chin down towards the chest. Slowly begin to circle the head in one direction towards the back, and circling it all the way back to the front. And then we'll just reverse it. Nice and easy. And then once your chin meets the chest again, we'll slowly blink the eyes open, nice and easy. And we'll take the gaze all the way towards the front. On your next breath in, we're just going to inhale the arms, sweep them all the way up, lengthen at the very top. Maybe the gaze looks in between the thumbs. And then exhale, let it go. A couple more times. Inhale, really reach up, but root down through the sit bones. And then exhale, let it go. Last time, big inhale up. And then exhale down. We're just going to tip it over to the right side. Fingertips can touch. And if they don't, you can always put a block or a book down. Let the floor come to you. And then we'll just inhale that left arm all the way up, reaching, looking past those fingertips. And then if it feels good, maybe arc that top arm over, having a little side bend. Just noticing that left hip bone, maybe it popped up, and see if you can root it down into the mat. Again, it doesn't need to be anything deep, just a nice little side stretch at first. And then we'll inhale both arms up, gaze looks in between the thumbs. And then exhale, just lean it over to the other side. Again, inhale that right arm all the way up, nice and long. And then exhale, arcing it over just a bit. Planting that right sit bone down into the ground, feeling that stretch all the way up to the fingertips. And we'll just take one more breath here. On the exhale out, we're going to take that top arm and begin to sweep it down towards your left. And then we're just going to sweep it across the floor. And then inhale that left arm all the way up. And again, we'll just sweep that left arm forward. It doesn't even have to be that far forward. If your range of motion is just right here in front of you, that's totally okay. As long as we find some lengthening, some expansion in the body, that's all we're looking for. So just following your breath here, the gaze can follow the fingertips, or you can even close your eyes if that feels better. Sometimes that helps us draw a little more awareness to what's going on in the body. Instead of feeling with our eyes, we're actually feeling what's going on with us. And then we'll just make it back over to the right side. Inhale that left arm all the way up, nice and long. And then exhale, take that left hand and just drop it down as far as it feels comfortable towards the ground. So the right side of you maybe even kind of goes to your right fingertip. And then we'll inhale that left arm all the way up, maybe looking past that shoulder, little back bend at the top. And then exhale, taking it back down. And just a few more times, we'll inhale the arm up. And then exhale down. Just really light, really smooth movements. Doesn't need to be sharp or rigid. Just finding a little bit of organic movement in the body. Good, and we'll inhale that left arm all the way back, let the right arm follow, and we'll just tip it back to the other side. Inhale that right arm nice and long, and then exhale, let it drop down to the left side of the body. Inhale, sweep that right arm up, maybe looking past that right shoulder. And again, exhale the hand down. So we'll just do that again a few more times, really opening up the chest and collarbones, really feeling that rounding of the back, that twist. And this is a really nice time just to follow that breath, nothing too strenuous. Beautiful. And once that right arm reaches all the way up, we'll take the left hand to follow it. Reach nice and long. Exhale, take both hands behind your back, clasp them together. Inhale, lift the chest, take the knuckles down the spine, open up. And then exhale, begin to release the hands. Let the hands walk forward. If this is enough, just staying here. You can always take the forearms down to a pillow or a block or down to the floor. Maybe find a little subtle movements left and right. See what's going on in the low back or the hips. Being really gentle with yourself. And then when you're ready, we'll walk the hands all the way back up. If you do have your feet crossed, just crossing the other way, balance ourselves out. Kind of readjust, and it might feel a little different. If you are sitting crisscross and maybe this way doesn't feel as good on your knees, or hips, you can always put a block or a box, like an Amazon box, underneath your knee to give you a little more leverage there. So from here, we're going to inhale the arms all the way up, just like we did in the beginning. At the top, we're going to press the palms up towards the ceiling, nice stretch. And then exhale, keep the palms facing away from you. And we'll just do that a couple more times. Inhale up. Exhale, press the palms towards the ceiling, and then dropping them down. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale, press away. And drop them all the way back down to your side. So this time we're just going to take that right elbow and bend it right behind you. Really getting into that shoulder, gently pressing that left hand down into that right elbow. So from here, you can take your left hand and maybe wrap around and find that hand in the back. Or if you just don't have the space right now, and that's totally fine. Sometimes we have the space to take those right fingertips in front of that left shoulder, and you can even take that left hand and grab on to those right fingertips right there. And just gently pulling down, feeling a nice little stretch on the side of the arm a bit more. Or if you want to try the other way, taking that left arm behind you and having the back of the hand on your back, trying to reach up and see if you can take that right hand and cut that left elbow, and it almost gives you a little more leverage to get up just a bit more. But again, just taking it really slow, seeing how the shoulder is feeling. And then if you have the space, you can always see if the fingertips touch. So we'll just breathe here for one more breath. And then on the exhale, we're just going to cartwheel or windmill the arms open. Take that right arm underneath the left. Maybe the hands come together. And if they don't, that's totally fine. We'll inhale, take the fingertips up. Exhale, begin to round the upper back just a bit. Take the chin towards the chest. Full breath in. Full breath out. Take that left arm and just place it across your chest. Nice little shoulder opener again. Maybe the gaze looks past the left shoulder. And then we'll take that left elbow, prop it up, and gently press it down, opening up that left shoulder now. And each side's going to feel a little different, and that's totally fine. But you can try the same modifications on this side if you want to see if that right hand can reach for those left fingertips right by your neck. Pull down nice and gentle, get a nice little stretch right there. Or take that right hand behind. See if that left arm or left hand can cup that right elbow, opening up a bit more. And then if you do have the space, you're more than welcome to see if the fingertips can reach together. Again, just finding what's going on each side, no forcing or pushing into anything, because that never really feels good. So from here, we'll take one more breath in. On the breath out, we'll windmill the arms left underneath the right, maybe the hands hook. And we'll inhale the fingertips up, round the upper back just a bit, chin to chest. Full breath in. Full breath out. And we'll just cross that right arm across the chest and looking past that right shoulder. Again, one breath in, one breath out. We'll gently release. Take the arms out into a cactus, open up the chest, looking up. Exhale, take the hands behind the back again, clasp them together. We'll inhale, pull the chest up, knuckles coming down towards the ground. We'll gently release out of that. Again, just walking the hands out in front of you. See what's going on. If it feels good, you can always drop down just a bit lower, or even just place a nice little bend in the elbows. Coming back to that nice deep breath. When you're ready, you can slowly roll over the knees or come to a side seat. And we're just going to come into a tabletop position. So shoulders right over the wrist, hips right over the knees, toes pointing straight back. And sometimes I actually like to look back at my toes. Sometimes you'll notice your toes want to come towards midline, but see if they can go straight back. Gaze is looking straight down, belly towards the spine. On your next inhale, we'll drop the belly, open up the chest, and gazing up. Exhale, begin to round the upper back, belly to spine, chin to chest. Just a few more times. Inhale, pull the heart through, tailbone points up. And then exhale, reverse, doming the upper back, really pressing down and up through the earth. Last time. Inhale for a cow pose. And then exhale all the way back to the cat back. And then coming back to that nice neutral spine. So from here, getting really spreading the fingertips wide, grounding them down into the ground. We're going to tuck the toes, and we're just going to come up into a plank pose at first. And maybe you have to scoot your feet back just a bit, but we're going to find a nice long line here. And you can always place your knees down at first, so we just want to find length from the crown of the head all the way down to the heels. Building up a little fire in the core. Bring awareness to your elbows. So try not to lock out your elbows. I have a problem with that sometimes, but place a nice little micro bend in there. The joints will thank you later. So we'll just stay here for a couple more breaths. Big inhale in, bigger exhale out. We're going to take the hips all the way up and back, downward facing dog. Bend the knees. Let the chest come towards the top of the thighs at first. Gaze looks in between the feet. When you're ready, we'll bend one knee, straighten the other. Come back up onto the tippy toes, and then straighten the opposite leg, bend the opposite knee. We'll just go back and forth, play around with it just for a few breaths. And just paying attention. The calves to the hamstrings, see if they feel tight today. When they do, just noticing, maybe setting them a little more TLC. And then once your legs open up, maybe just a little bit, maybe sway a little side to side with your hips, getting a little more different kind of emotion in. And then when you're ready, we'll find a bit more stillness in our downward facing dog. You can keep a nice bend in your knees if you need to, but see if you can drop the heels just a bit more and still drawing the chest towards the top of the thighs. On your next inhale, we're going to just roll it all the way forward back to that plank pose. Nice long line again from the crown of the head all the way to the heels. And then we'll exhale, take the hips all the way up and back, downward facing dog. We're just going to flow through this just a few times. So inhale, nice and slow, like a big wave in your body, all the way to the plank pose. And then exhale, taking the hips all the way up and back. And again, inhale forward. And then exhale back. And do that one more time. Inhale, rolling all the way forward. And then exhale, take the hips all the way up and back. On your next breath in, we'll gaze towards the top of the mat, and then exhale, begin to slowly walk up all the way to the front. Once you make your way up there, you can place a nice bend in the knees and just bowing over the legs, grabbing onto opposite elbows, swaying side to side. See if you can get the top of the head parallel to the mat. This will release a lot more tension built up in the neck and the shoulders. When you're ready, we'll find some stillness. Take the fingertips back down to the ground, keeping the head nice and heavy. We're just going to slowly roll up, one vertebrae at a time. Once you make it up, rooting down through the feet, inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. And then hands come next to your side, mountain pose or Tadasana. On your next breath in, slight bend in the knees, sweep the arms up. Exhale, lead with the chest, swan dive down with control. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands can be on top of the thighs or the shins, or even blocks. And then exhale, forward fold. Couple more times. Inhale, lift the heart. And then exhale, melt it down. Last time, inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, take the hands down. We'll step back to that plank pose. Stay for the breath in. On the breath out, lower the knees, bend the elbows, graze the rib cage all the way down to the belly, and then taking the tops of the feet onto the ground. So imagine a magnet from your chin to your chest, and then really zipping in the elbows into the rib cage. We're going to inhale, lift the chest up just an inch or two for a baby cobra. And then exhale down. Inhale maybe a little higher this time. And then exhale down. Last time, inhale maybe to a full cobra. Keep a bend in your elbows. And gazes looking straight forward or even down. And then exhale down with control. Tuck the toes under. And then just transitioning back to a tabletop. And then take the hips all the way up and back. Downward facing dog. Full breath in, full breath out. Inhale, gaze towards the top of the mat, and exhale, we'll slowly step it up all the way to the top. Once you make it up, we'll inhale, halfway lift, and then exhale, forward fold. Slowly begin to roll up one notch at a time again. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, hands find a heart center. And then hands come next to your side, Tadasana. Inhale, slight bend in the knees, sweep the arms up. Exhale, lead with the chest, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, take the hands down and we'll step back to plank pose. Stay for the breath in. On the breath out, take the knees down and lower down back to the belly. This time we're going to take our fingertips on the outside of the mat. And we'll inhale the chest up just a bit. And then exhale down. Couple more times. Inhale. Exhale down. This time we're going to inhale the chest up. Begin to drop that right shoulder towards midline. And then inhale up. Exhale, drop that left shoulder down towards midline. And then inhale up. Exhale the chest down with control. Hands come right underneath the shoulders. Tuck the toes. And we'll transition back to our tabletop and all the way up towards our downward facing dog. Calm breath in. Calm breath out. Inhale, gaze towards the top of the mat, and exhale, maybe this time taking a nice big step all the way forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. This time we're going to inhale, root to rise, all the way to standing, lifting the arms, lifting the gaze. Exhale, hands come down to heart center, and hands come next to your side. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, melt the heart all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, take the hands back down and stepping back to our plank pose. Stay for the breath in. On the breath out, we're going to lower the knees and we're going to bend the elbows like at a 90-degree angle or even a little more. That's totally fine. From here, take the tops of the feet onto the ground and we're just going to inhale into our cobra. and then exhale down. Inhale, take the toes and the hands off the mat just for a second. Exhale, place them down and come back into our plank pose. Take the hips all the way up and back, downward facing dog. Full breath in, full breath out. Inhale, gaze towards the top. Exhale, stepping it all the way up. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise all the way to standing. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Hands by your side. I'm just going to go through that a couple more times. So inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, lift the heart. So take the hands down, either step or maybe even hop back to plank pose. Stay for the breath in. On the breath out, lower down halfway or all the way, your choice. Inhale for cobra, upward facing dog. And then exhale all the way back, downward facing. Full breath in, full breath out. Inhale, gaze towards the top of the mat, and exhale, take a nice big step forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we'll rise all the way up to standing, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands come down to heart center. And hands come down to your side. Beautiful, one more round. We'll inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, lead with the chest, swan dive down. Inhale, lift the heart, halfway lift. Roll the shoulders down the spine. Exhale, take the hands down and either step or hop back. On an exhale, lower down halfway or all the way. Inhale for cobra, upward facing. And then exhale all the way back, downward facing dog. And we're going to stay here for 3 active breaths, so 3 breaths. You can always come into child's pose if you need to. Big inhale in. Bigger exhale out. Inhale, gaze towards the top of the mat, and exhale, step it all the way towards the top. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise all the way standing, lifting the arms. And exhale, drawing the hands down to heart center. So maybe closing the eyes just for a moment. Maybe spreading the toes a bit, just grabbing onto the mat, finding that foundation. And you can even rock a little forward and back. No need to be super still. But still having that engagement in the legs and in the core. And that length all the way from the base of the spine all the way to the crown of the head. And we'll take a big inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Twice more. Big inhale. Bigger exhale. Last time. Inhale in. Exhale, let it go. Beautiful. So we'll inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, dive it down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, take the hands back down, either step or hop back. Lower down halfway or all the way. Inhale for cobra, upward facing dog. And then exhale all the way back, downward facing. So from here, we're going to inhale our left leg up, nice and high, engaging that glute. And the leg doesn't even actually have to go that high, even if the foot's only a few inches off the ground, as long as the foot is active and you're really engaging that glute. Gaze is still looking back towards the toes, chest is coming towards that top of the thigh. We'll take one big inhale in, lift maybe just a bit higher. Exhale, take that knee towards that left shoulder just for a moment, and then place that left foot on the outside of the left hand. So we're coming into our lizard pose. So you'll feel a nice deep opening in that hip, maybe even in the glute. And if it feels good, you can always drop that knee down, nice and gentle, flatten that back foot. And we're just going to stay here for a couple of breaths. If you do need more space, you can always take blocks right underneath your hands. Just seeing what's going on right here. So before we drop down to our forearms, if you do have the space, we're going to put in a little bit of mobility or stretch here. So still grounding down through your right hand. We're going to inhale, sweep that left arm all the way up, so kind of like a twist. And then exhale, slowly bring down that left forearm towards the mat. And it doesn't even have to touch, you can just hover a couple of inches above. We're going to do that a couple of times. So inhale, begin to twist from the mid-back, from the belly. And then exhale, drawing that forearm down towards the ground. Inhale, sweep that arm up. Exhale, let the elbow come close to that left foot. One more time. Inhale, twist. And then exhale, take that forearm back down to the ground. So from here, you can just stay here up on your hands for just a couple of breaths, or you can always bring the forearms down to the floor or down to the blocks. Again, see what's going on in the body. Don't force or push anything, and slowly move into whatever you're going to be doing. Never want to do anything fast. And we'll stay here for one more breath in. On the breath out, we're going to tuck the toes, lift that back knee, and we're just going to take that left foot to meet the right, and then lift the hips all the way back and up, downward facing dog. Full breath in. Full breath out. On your next breath in, we're going to lift that right leg all the way up, squaring off the hips, toes flexing, pointing down towards the ground. Chest is pulling back. Inhale, lift the glute just a bit higher, and then exhale, take that right knee towards that right shoulder, and then put that foot down on the outside of that right hand. And let the hips settle just for a moment. When you're ready, slowly taking the knee down, flattening that back foot. So this should be a nice slow release into the hip. Sometimes we feel really stiff here, especially if we're sitting all day in our chair for school or for work. It's always nice to open up the hips just a bit. So we're going to do what we did on the other side. So on your next inhale, we're going to sweep that right arm all the way up. Exhale, take that forearm and place it as close as you can to the mat. Inhale the arm up. Exhale, slowly drawing it down. A couple more times. Inhale up. Exhale down. Last time. Inhale up, twisting. And then exhale, drawing that forearm down towards the mat. So you can stay on both hands right here. Or again, if you have the room, each side might feel a little different. You can place your forearms down on the floor, down on blocks or a pillow. Just getting into the hip just a little deeper. Again, not pushing past your limits. Just feeling that nice juicy stretch in the hip. When you're ready, we'll take a nice big breath in. On the breath out, if you're on your forearms, coming up to your hands. Then we'll all tuck that back toe, lift the back knee, and the right foot meets the left. Send the hips all the way up and back, downward facing dog. Full breath in. Full breath out. Begin to slowly lower the knees back down to the ground, big toes touch, and we'll spread the knees as wide as comfortable, shifting the hips back towards the heels. Let the forehead, the third eye come down to the mat. And just reaching the fingertips towards the front of the mat. We'll inhale, take a big belly breath in, and then exhale, let it out. Just settle here for a moment. Let the hips release just a bit more. Good, we'll take one more breath in. One more breath out. And then when you're ready, we're going to slowly walk our hands all the way back and just come to a side seat. Center yourself onto your mat. We're actually going to come into or do a lot of groundwork right now, opening up the hips a bit more. So we're going to come into our butterfly pose. And actually, I will face this way just for a moment. So the farther away your feet are from you, the less you'll feel the intensity on your hips. And again, if you have blocks or books, you can always prop them up underneath your knees so that you won't get that pinching sensation in your hips if they're tight. But the closer you move your soles of the feet towards you, you're going to feel a deeper opening into the hips. So just seeing where you are right now, and as we move through, they'll start to open up just a bit more. But again, no need to force into anything. So once you find that spot, just placing your hands right on top of your feet, we'll inhale, pull the chest forward. You should even feel a little deeper stretch just with this. So if this is enough to stay here, especially if you're on blocks. If you want kind of a deeper stretch or kind of movement, just take the knees up and down nice and slow. Kind of like if it was a butterfly, just flapping the wings, and you'll feel just a little opening in the hip creases just a bit more. Keeping with the breath. If you feel yourself clenching your mouth or, squeezing the brows together, that probably means you feel some tension and you want to ease off just a bit. Just taking those bodily cues. Our body's very smart, so just trying to focus in on that. So if you are doing the little movements, we'll find a little bit of stillness now. And again, we'll inhale, pull the heart forward. And exhale, drawing that chest down, even if it's just an inch. See if you can find a little more space here. And every time you breathe, if you feel like you can move into the space created, go for it. So if you found where you're at, just stay there. When wherever you're at, we'll take one more breath in. One more breath out. And we'll inhale all the way back up. So keep that left foot in, and we're just going to straighten out that right leg, but out to the side. And begin to flex your toes pointing up. We're actually going to focus on the ankles and the feet for a moment because we're on them all the time. It's really good to keep that flexibility and mobility and strength in them. So you can place your hands right in front of you or even on either side of the leg. We're just going to flex the toes up and then gently point them down. We're just going to do this just a few times. So inhale up, exhale point. This is actually a drill that I used to do a lot when I did ballet. Because again, when you're dancing or even when you're just, walking around, all your weight is in your ankles and your feet. So we want to keep that flexibility and strength up. We'll just do that one more time. Inhale, flex the foot, and then exhale, point. Beautiful. This time we're just going to keep that foot almost like at a 90-degree angle. And then we're going to walk the hands over to the left. So we're going to take a nice twist. So inhale, begin to lengthen up the spine. And then exhale, maybe twisting over the left shoulder just a bit more. Full breath in. On the breath out, coming back towards midline. So we're just going to walk the hands out just a bit. I think some people call this like a half pancake. So just keep walking the hands out as far as it feels good, and you can always walk it back. If you want more stillness, just finding that spot, or if you want a little more movement, you can keep walking the hands out and then just walking them back. This will warm up the hips even more without having to press or push into anything. Coming back to that breath, nice and easy. And then when you're ready, we'll walk the hands all the way back, and we're just going to switch the other side. So bend that right knee in and straightening out that left leg, maybe recentering just a bit. And again, just placing the hands in the front or the sides of the legs. And we're going to flex the left toes up towards the sky, and then exhale, begin to point the foot. Again, we'll just do this a few times. And even if you look at the foot, you see all these like little intrinsic bones and extensors, and there's so much going on in there. So again, we'll just inhale, flex the foot, and then exhale, point. Coming back to more of a neutral position, we're going to walk the hands over towards the right side. Inhale, lengthen up the spine. And exhale, twisting over to the right just a bit more. Full breath in. On the breath out, coming back towards center. So from here, just walking the hands out as far as comfortable. And again, you can always walk the hands back and walk them forward if that feels good. Or just finding some stillness. Maybe even closing the eyes. Sending the breath down into the hip just to open up a bit more. Full breath in. Full breath out. And walk the hands all the way back in. So we're going to come into a wide leg pose. So now we're going to take both legs out. So even if it looks more like a V, and that's as far as the hips will allow you, that's totally fine. Just see what your range of motion is. Again, not pushing past it. And have the toes flexing up just a bit at first. And even place your hands on top of your thighs. See if they're rolling in, which sometimes they most tend to, and see if you can actually roll them out just a bit. It might feel a little funny, but just seeing what's going on. So from here, we're just going to take nice little movements side to side. So we'll go to the right, go to the left. And again, it doesn't even need to be that deep. It can just be a little inch to the right, a inch to the left. So this will help open up the hips even more. Again, even closing the eyes or letting them be nice and heavy. If your breath is nice and smooth, then your muscles won't contract and feel like they're in danger, but they'll actually release and soften a bit more, which is easier to get into any kind of pose. So if you had enough of that, going back and forth, just staying upright for a moment. You can place your hands right in front of you. And again, this may be enough. If you want to practice this at a later time, you can always have like a chair in front of you, and you can always just place your arms on the seat, and that'll actually help open up without having to force yourself forward in any way. But right now, we'll just take the arms out in front of us. If you do feel like you have the space, you can always take a block, a pillow, maybe forearms come down just an inch or two. So as long as you feel just a bit of a stretch in the back of the legs, especially the hips. If you feel any sharp pains, all of a sudden just slowly easing back. Again, yoga is not about the pose, but it's really just about easing the mind, letting yourself become one with the breath, honoring your body where it is in this very moment. You can always come out of it anytime, but we're just going to stay here for 3 more rounds of breath. Calm breath in, calm breath out. Just walk the hands all the way back and gently help your legs and knees kind of bend a bit more. Come together, feet come onto the ground. We'll just grab a hold of our shins and inhale the chest forward, sitting up nice and tall. From here, we're just going to take the feet hip width apart. Take the hands right in back of you, fingertips facing the same direction as your feet. And we're just going to inhale the hips up. This is a nice reverse pose for all those forward folding poses that we did today. And then we'll exhale, take the hips all the way back down. Stretch out the legs nice and long, and then using your core, we're just going to come all the way down onto our backs. Coming into our final resting pose, Shavasana. So if you need to put a blanket underneath the head or the knees, just letting the body relax. And taking a nice big breath in through the nose. Deeper exhale out the mouth. Begin to relax the toes, the soles of the feet and the ankles. Relaxing the calves, the knees, and the tops of the thighs. Softening the hips and the pelvis. And then letting this peaceful sensation flow all the way up through the spine, into the belly, in through the chest. Melting the shoulders down into the earth. And relaxing the arms all the way down to the fingertips. Releasing any tension you may have in your jaw. And softening the space between your brows. Letting yourself become one with the earth, one with the source, and one with the self. Slowly begin to come back to the room, back to your body, back to your natural pace of breath. Taking a nice big stretch like you're waking up in the morning. And wiggling the toes and the fingertips. If it feels good, rolling over to your favorite side into fetal pose. Taking a nice big breath in, and deeper breath out. At the bottom of the exhale, slowly begin to press yourself all the way to a comfortable seat, keeping your eyes closed or heavy. And once you make your way there, just taking the hands to heart center, bowing the chin in gratitude for taking this time for yourself and taking this time for your practice as well. I hope you all feel a little bit more stronger, a little more brighter, and a little more at peace. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste. Well, thank you everyone for coming out today. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your week and beautiful weekend, and I hope to see you all next Tuesday. Bye, everyone.
Amanda, have a good day.
Bye, Kim. You too.